welcome back for another day of Overwatch action. I am Achilles, joined as always by Wolf, and we have another fantastic day of Overwatch matches here for you. And it's going to be starting off with Washington Justice going up against the Toronto Defiant. Both of these teams kind of been on struggle street. You know, Toronto, they made it into the stage playoffs in stage 1, but since then, it's been a bit of a spiral.
It certainly has. You know, they were a top 4 team at the very beginning of stage 1, and now they're down in bottom 4. We'll see if they can recover. They've still got a chance to make that play-in spot, potentially make it into the season playoffs. It's going to be a very uphill battle. Justice, on the other hand, unable to make it through. Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more in just a bit, but just in case you guys didn't get to tune in yesterday, of course, we have the new patch coming through. 2-2-2 roll lock also being implemented into the Overwatch League, so 2 damage heroes, 2 tanks, and 2 supports. Players cannot change their roles during a map, and if they're going to swap between maps, they got to change seats as well. That's right. So, you know, we have seen already a little bit of flexibility. We saw Hydration playing the main tank role yesterday, and so that will change where you sit.
Yep. So, have some flexibility in that regard. As you mentioned, the Washington Justice have been eliminated from the season playoffs, so can't make their way into that. But Florida Mayhem also joining them. Toronto, however, they still have that opportunity, but they need to turn their season around. They have that -22 map differential at the moment and are sitting just above the Justice.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the difference between the Defiant and the Reign right now, 6 places, it's really just those 2 wins. So every win does count, and this is a meta I feel like the Defiant can potentially excel in if they, you know, utilize the players that they have and the strengths that they have. So with a good stage here, I mean, I think there's a real chance we see Defiant in that play-in tournament.
Well, they're certainly going to be aiming for that. Both these squads have been making moves. Of course, the Defiant picking up, you know, their most recent players coming through. We've got Gods and everything on that roster, but the Washington Justice as well, despite being eliminated, still trying to add to this roster and build up for 2020. We have Elifode and Lulsic both joining the squad.
And these 2 players, 2 Swedish players, have a lot of pre-existing synergy with each other. They played on Angry Titans together, as well as Envy. They're the tank lineup, you know, main tank and flex support. So when you bring this solid tank duo together into a lineup like this, especially one that's been struggling, you know, Giannis, pretty unsuccessful season. Sansa looking a little bit weak on the Diva. Now you've got a strong front line. You've got more Westerners on the team that can, you know, coordinate with Stratus and coordinate with Corey. It's a pretty nice pickup for the Justice, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams have been adding more Western players to the roster, kind of stripping away the Korean ones. So we'll see how they fare against each other today. Let's go ahead and bring out our first team, the Toronto Defiant.
Toronto Defiant started out this season with a great finish in stage 1, but that was when it was an all-Korean roster with a core of 0-2 coming in with a team that had, you know, high expectations on them being a Korean roster, but they've changed a lot since then. And now, you know, it's a mixed roster, and it's going to take some time. We've been saying it a lot, but it's going to take some time to really synergize with that. Their starting lineup will be Logix and Ivy in terms of the damage players for this squad. A lot of people probably surprised that they're not going to see Mangachu here. Remember, Ivy is a god at projectile DPS, so I think that a lot of people are going to learn that today now that we have this 2-2-2 log.
We'll see how he fares coming back, and it's been a while since we've seen Ivy, so good to see him back on the stage. You can expect Mangachu perhaps throughout the rest of this series. Time will tell, but for now, let's go ahead and bring out their opponents. It's the Washington Justice.
Justice coming in here with, you know, a lot to prove, you have to argue, in this stage because of their DPS lineup. Stratus coming out in style. He will be one of our starting DPS players along with Corey, the Westerners, on this squad today. We will see Guido in on the flex support role with Korean cohort Arc. So we're going to see, you know, about what you'd expect. We don't have our new Swedish duo on this lineup yet, perhaps, you know, not actually quite ready to be, you know, in stage and playing, but I expect we will see them as the stage goes on.
I think one is still in the process of coming over to America, so it might be a little bit longer before they make their appearance, but of course, ever present on the Washington Justice is Corey. This guy, you know, a rough start to the season, given the 3-3 meta. His Zarya was a little bit hit or miss, but once the Widowmaker started coming out, the Hanzo as well, it was a lot more hits than misses for Corey. He really kind of surged into the public eye as being a very solid sniper.
Yeah. You know, Corey has been very consistent this season on the Widow. is Zarya improved a lot throughout the GOATS meta, but that's no longer really going to be his concern, right? I mean, it's just going to be hit scan from this guy all the time. If you look at his first elim percentage in terms of Widowmaker play across the league, it's actually first, and that is massive. I mean, that means he's turning a lot of fights into 6v5s right out of the get-go.
I mean, these stats are honestly great. First, second, and then 12th, you know, as far as the deaths are concerned. But when your team is losing a lot, of course, you are as well are going to be getting picked off. But it's still quite a fantastic run for him so far on that Widow. And I think we can expect a lot more of that playing today. Taking a look at our map set presented by Toyota, we're going to be heading to Busan. And especially if we get downtown, that Widowmaker should come in. Then we'll move to Temple of Anubis, Blizzard World, and Havana. So all of these maps, quite friendly to the Widow.
I want to pivot the focus of this series to one player right now. That player is Ivy. You know, we've had this player on mostly Zarya throughout the season. He was benched a lot once the new DPS duo came in for the Defiant, the Western players. But he's back now, and this is a meta where he can play the Tracer, he can play the Genji, and obviously the Junkrat if required. Those are his strengths, and his Pharah as well.
I'm not going to be seeing the Widow.
Yeah, we're going to see Corey on the Reaper here to start. It's been very popular recently, especially by the Fusion.
TP up to the top was trying to displace Logix, who has since backed off. Ivy's going to be swapping over onto the Hanzo, and Logix will be moving onto the Reaper to match.
It's very important to remember that Reaper is slow and struggles to position, so taking control of this position first is great for the Justice, because Corey is always going to be able to maximize damage, whereas Logix has to get into position. It's very difficult to be the second Reaper to arrive on the scene.
Speaking of which, right up into his face goes Logix to take down Corey, and he manages to do so, and a little bit of help from his squad. Justice have the first lockdown on the point here on downtown. Pushing forward, looking to poke down that shield, looking to eliminate Giannis, but it's going to be Logix who comes up with yet another kill. Sonic Arrow not going to find the connection around the corner over onto Stratus, still softening him up. Coalescence is out now from Guido, but he gets antied. He can't heal himself in the ult, gets taken down. Just like that, draw to Defiant, they fire back. They get the flip coming through. Just have to clean up Corey here one last time. Has a little bit more percentage for them. It'll end right there, 35.
Yeah, Logix does retake the point there with the Reaper swap, and they do end up getting a lot more value out of his Reaper once he gets into position. Ivy as well with a little bit more burst damage that Stratus can output on the Mei. And as an approaching Mei with Blizzard, charging up here, we'll get it with another right click. It's tough to actually utilize that Blizzard correctly. You're also running with this Reinhardt, so you have to get yourself onto the point with a speed boost to set up that fight. And it's really easy for the Defiant to just disengage when they have this high ground control right now.
Stratus is going to boost them up over at the top. Dragon Strike going to be coming in. Hold that one across the point, but not going to be able to find anything. With Gods, he takes away the Blizzard. Now the Death Blossom comes in from Logix. He cleans up too. They managed to take him down with a pin, but that might be as good as it gets here for the Washington Justice. Yakpunk is going to be taking down Corey right before he can get his own Death Blossom online.
Now, the next thing Gods is going to want to absorb, if he can, is going to be the Death Blossom from Corey. But again, with this high ground control that Defiant have right now, especially with the Hanzo in the mix versus the Mei, you have so much more poke, and you have so many better ways to engage defensively than Justice will have to attack, especially when they're running this Reinhardt. They have to utilize the Ice Wall from Stratus to get onto the high ground itself.
Corey, Death Blossom ready to go. Waiting for an opportunity. He's going to be TPing up onto the top side, but Ivy greets him with an arrow to the skull. Takes him down the sound barrier a bit too late from Arc to try to catch the Reaper and help keep him in the fight. He is gone. Stratus into the ice block, trying to survive. Giannis taken down by the primal rage here from Yakpunk. Not going to be able to knock anybody over onto the tracks, but a sleep connects in onto Guido, and they've got the headshot ready to go. Ivy coming up with another one.
Ivy, absolutely phenomenal projectile player. And one of the, last remaining strong Koreans on this roster that, I expect to see pretty regularly here in Stage 4. Corey still has a Death Blossom. This one canceled. He was killed before he could use it.
Dragon Strike coming up the street, trying to creep them as they make their way over towards the point. Sansam already going to get knocked out of his mech, and Arc taken down out of the sky by the Storm Arrows. We're into overtime here from the Toronto Defiant to try to close out this round. Corey unable to find much value outside of taking down Yakpunk. OT starting to dwindle away. Stratus, he uses the Blizzard, dumps it onto the point, this time not going to be eaten. Still have to stay stuck to this one. Logix be popping another Death Blossom, just zoning them off the point as the OT continues to burn down. Pop out of the back here, onto Sansam, and a little bit inside Baby Diva. Wraith walk around the back, just trying to find another target. Stratus puts up the wall, trying to block them off. Corey has the Wraith walk back out to keep himself alive, and 8 goes ahead and drops the beat. putting those shields up, keeping his team safe. Wrecking balls back in from Giannis, but with a Reaper there, with a Mei freezing you up, it's not gonna matter. Rather with the Tracer hounding you down. Struck manages to find one. Ivy does get cleaned up. Washington Justice. Can they actually pull off this flip? Corey, he's got a sliver of HP remaining. Another Death Blossom nearly online. Now has it. Trying to get topped up. Neko going to be fading away to the point. Washington Justice actually do manage to flip this back into their favor.
Yeah, and it's a lot of this comes down to the Moira and the Mei. You know, you basically have the ability to sustain through almost everything when you have this lineup like this. You know, the Reaper also has self-sustain and a lot of it, you know, on this patch. So Stratus just slows everyone, freezes everyone, and the longer fight goes in your favor. You can't have that same impact as a Hanzo in that scrappy fight. They've got both of those ultimates now to use together.
Finding a way for the point right now. Coalescence going to be out from Guido. Samsung going low. He's trying to stay alive, and Ivy does get picked. Giannis coming up that one. Further delaying a Dragon Strike. They can help buy some space over onto the point. Stratus pushing forward, looking for the next target to be frozen. The wall's there. Guido pushing forward here with the rest of the squad as the Blizzard comes down. The Death Blossom on top of all of it, and Corey cleans up house. He gets himself a quadra kill.
Yeah. Insane how much you can accomplish when you have the slows of the Mei. So these big targets can't escape from the Reaper shotguns. You have obviously the Death Blossom there as well in that choke point, in that corridor. The Defiant have their own Death Blossom. They have 2 support ultimates to sustain through this fight, but they're gonna have to get an opening pick. And look at this wall, slowing them down.
Renegade them back. They managed to break through. Minefield here over onto the staircase, and the sound barrier now out for the Toronto Defiant. They're in onto the point. The Death Blossom ready to go from Logic. Just waiting for his opportunity. Goes ahead and uses it now, but everybody is shielded up, so he can't quite get the kills. Giannis, he barely manages to escape around the corner. Bomb up over the top from Busan. Not going to be able to find a pick, but he makes it back into the back safely. Now Guido is going to be hacked out. Gets taken down by Ivy. Toronto pushes forward, looking for this flip. Stratus gonna fall. Ivy gets himself a double kill. The Logix goes down to the hand of Corey, who's getting closer and closer to yet another Death Blossom. Just 30% away as he picks up a double. For a little bit more of it, Sansam goes off the side of the map, and Ark's gonna be taken down. Guido gonna be trying to rejoin. The Wraith Ball comes in from Corey. Needs to get some of that life steal healing coming in, but the flip is there for the Toronto Defiant as we are in double OT. Both of these squads at 99%. EMP comes through. Manages to find one. Corey, he gets himself 2. Both supports taken down by the Death Blossom. The pop out there on the guys' mech. Can he stay alive? No, he cannot. Corey gets the headshot. Yakpung's by himself, and he does not have a Primal Rage. They clean it up. The Justice, they're getting the flip back in, and that might just be it.
That is going to be it. There's just no way to contest this anymore.
They tag in one last time, but they have to translocate out. Justice take the first round.
At the beginning, it was tough to utilize the Mei. They didn't have high ground control. They had to use the ice walls to take control of the point. Using the ice wall can elevate your Reinhardt up to the 2nd level. Then once you're on top of it, you can utilize your comp correctly. But when your opponent knows that is your angle of approach, it's very easy to play around it. But once they took the point back and they could play around the Mei, that synergy is really there between Mei and Reaper. You know, it's a combo we've seen since the beginning of the game. It's been a long time since we've seen it in professional play, but this meta kind of calls for it on Control. We're seeing a lot of these, you know, mixed rosters running a lot of the Reaper right now on Control, and Busan in particular. But it ended up being better at the end of the day to have that Mei synergy, and that's why Corey was able to win the matchup in the end. We will now see Logix on the Widowmaker, and
yeah, going back to that one.
Ivy on the Tracer, so Tracer Widow gonna give you a lot of range of damage. Ivy's gonna be looking to finish off the targets that Logix pokes down.
Got the good old Hulk hook over on the side of the Washington Justice. The oink and yoink, whatever you want to call it. Backed up by that Batiste from Clark, trying to keep everybody alive. Right now, Toronto Defiant playing back away from the point. Logix looking for an angle, but the barrier blocking a lot of his shots. Manages to weave one in there, but Corey gonna be taken down. Ivy pushing forward. Is for that immortality field, but they lose out on a Yakpung.
You can see Ivy's just chasing down those targets. He's almost got a pulse.
One of the biggest pieces of harassment taken out there with that wrecking ball. Point still going to be contested. Ivy now eliminated Stratus, managing to find that one. Guys trying to play forward. Down to about half HP, getting topped up slowly there by Neko and 8. Hook comes in, pulls him all the way into the back as the boop is there. Oh, thought maybe he was going to make it out for a second, but 8 does get taken down in the end. Point still being contested, no one getting the lockdown, but with Gods getting pulled back in. Trying to secure this one to the Washington Justice. Logic's going to be finished off by Corey in the back line, who comes up with a double kill. Now is duking it out with Ivy. Uses the recall back up to full HP. They manage to find it. Justice are on the board again.
Great play from Sansam. Remember, Sansam's been a pretty lackluster diva this season, but on the Roadhog here, which is still the flex tank role for him, right? He's looking very solid. The the synergy we're seeing between him and Giannis, you can really feel it. And Corey, you know, he gets a lot of respect for his Widowmaker, but he's played a little bit of Tracer this season. It has been pretty serviceable, and right now, you know, he's doing a lot better than Ivy. Ivy swaps over to the Hanzo.
Yep, get that halt in. Logic's taken down, Blizzard out. Just keeping everybody's own back over towards the point. Self-destruct gonna be used by Gods. Manages to find two, and they actually turn this one around. 8 also has the res now on the Ivy. They have the advantage. It's only gonna be Gods gone. Sleep goes forward, manages to catch Guido out. And they line up the kill. The Bionade coming in, they toss one down. Set Immortality field to clean it up. Justice still in control of the point right now. The Toronto Defiant playing very far forward. They have the barrier set up. Dart not gonna connect. And Stratus, he answers back with an icicle to the skull. Makes it into that nice block down to 4 HP, I believe. Tops himself back up, hits the wall to keep himself safe. Corey in the meantime lurking around the back, has that pulse bomb ready to go. Wants to ensure that Gods can't eat this. Tries to make his way into the back. Can't quite get the D-Matrix out, but he doesn't have the stick either. Pull comes in, Gods out of the mech.
That's not the pulse he wanted, but they still have control of the point.
Yep. Clean up that baby diva. Still pushing forward. Hook not going to find anything. We're at nearly 75% here for the Washington Justice.
You know, God's got that, you know, multi-kill there on the self-destruct, but it wasn't when he wanted to use it. He was trying to use it to remech. It was lucky that he got those kills in the first place and there wasn't a barrier available, but he didn't have the self-destruct when he wanted it for the next fight, and they weren't able to flip the point. And now this is a great opportunity here for Ivy to use this to control the side of the point itself, the Dragon Strike, and Logix gets a pick.
Now, already that one going to be gone. The Dragon Strike thrown in. Logix comes up with another one as Guido gets taken down. It's not something being tickled by the Dragon Strike. Manages to stay alive and plays forward. Has that whole hog online. Might just be able to push the Defiant off. Create some space and allow for the OG Wake to burn down. Stratus again loses another Blizzard to Gods' D-Matrix. Takes that one away, and suddenly Toronto Defiant here in overtime. They look alive, they get the flip.
They get the flip. And now this becomes a lot harder for the Justice because they can't approach as easily with that, you know, Blizzard, or rather the May. They don't have a Blizzard anymore. We're going to watch Logic's 2 picks that helped open this up during that Dragon Strike. He gets the Ana as well, I believe. Yeah, takes Guido's head off. Yep. Nice. Meanwhile, you know, this approach becomes so difficult when you're trying to run the maze, so Stratus swaps over to the Hanzo here, and this makes a lot more sense. It's going to be more of a mirror composition with the exception of the Roadhog.
Yeah, that and the Batiste, so no Immortality field available for the Defiant.
You've got to skirt that barrier if you're the attacking team in this case, try to get around Yakung's shield.
Trying to get that hook in, but Yakung flies a little bit too far. Now the Supercharger going to be dropped in as they look to maintain control at this point. Whole hog comes through, Supercharger going to be eliminated. Sansan makes his way around the corner, but Gods with a self-destruct manages to find Arc. Corey comes out on top of Logic, seeing that Widow 1v1, taking him down. They pull Sansan in towards the Dragon Strike, but he takes a breather and is still alive on the point. Now Neko going to be eliminated. Both these Hanzos looking to duke it out. Ivy trying to get the victory there. Is unable to do so, but Yakpum is there for the follow-up. Manages to take him down. But now it seems like Defiant might just be able to control this point.
It looks that way. And this is a really pivotal moment in this match because they can't, if they lose this fight, they probably won't be able to take it at all, the Justice.
Forward, Sansa going lower and lower. Sleep in onto Gods. Nearly has that next self-destruct. They can knock him out now. Might just be enough for the Justice to come back in and get that cap. Pile driver through the sleep dart. Perfect, but Corey manages to find the Cypher's Logix gets popped up into the air.
Res though.
Res does come in. Self-destruct gonna be dropped by Gods. Still manages to find a pick again. Sansa gonna be taken down. Suppose he did not have the breather online. Corey right up in front of Yakpum. Nearly eliminates him. He's dancing around the barrier, trying to avoid these shots and now take down Guido. Gods is there, they get the alley-oop, but again, it seems like we might have that double overtime coming through Justice. Can they contest this? There's still 2 people dead. Playing forward, Stratus gonna be taken down, OT starting to dwindle. Sansum's back in, but he's bionated, so has to play around the backside of the drum.
Looks like this is just gonna be too much for the Justice. They need a crazy pick from Corey, and they need it now.
Yeah, might be going 1-to-1 to try to settle things. And one last final round on Mecca Base. Logix manages to find one. Sansum taken down. Spots Arc for the moment, can't quite get the shot. Now Giannis gonna be eliminated. Arc still under fire, sound barrier about to come online, but they cannot stay on the point. We are tied up, and Mecca Base will settle the first map.
Mecca Base will settle the first map, and this is where things got a little bit crazy yesterday. In that Houston-Paris series, we saw a little bit of Brigitte as support, you know, which is rare in this 2-2-2 roll-lock before her changes come through. We're not gonna see a lot of that. We saw a lot of Tracer, Widow, we saw Sombra as well. I'd be curious, I'm curious, you know, I'm sure everyone is, as to how these 2 teams are gonna approach Mecca Base, because this was the map for 3-3 all season long, where it was a must because of the choke points. But this is also a map where the Justice kind of try to break those standards and have Corey play Widow. This is arguably Corey's best map on Widow that we've seen all season long. And he will again start the Reaper here. So the Reaper May and Reinhardt. Controlling the point first is so important if you're running this because the high ground we were talking about earlier.
What's a Reinhardt?
No, I've seen a little bit of that. This
on occasion.
Yeah.
Not too frequent anymore here with the 2-2-2 coming in.
Great with May though. It's super good with this.
Uses walls to pin people into, but Logic's he's still going to be there. He's still popping heads. Arc goes down. Gives Aid a very big lead towards that first sound barrier. As Corey just gets hounded down, had a sliver of HP.
Yeah. The funny thing about Lucio in this meta is that it's not about the healing in these comps. It's about the speed. When you lose that speed, you can't fight anymore. And because this is basically a pick composition both teams are running, you see Aid barely even has any Storm Barrier charge. He hasn't been doing that much healing.
Haven't taken that much damage on the side of the Defiant so far. Shots continue to fly through from Logix, who's got that infra sight up, pops it instantly. Comes online, down onto the point of the Washington Justice. The Coalescence is in from Guido. Looking to keep everybody alive. Sees Ivy around the back, tries to harass the Tracer a little bit. Also maintaining control of his teammates' HP bars. Pulse Bomb comes in. He's got to fade away from that one, but Stratus goes down. Didn't have the ice block ready to go. That's going to slow up that Blizzard, which is 17% away. Ivy comes up with another one, taking down Giannis this time. Corey trying to do some work, gets Aid, and now has that Pulse online. And he get a crucial enough pick to try to flip this back into their favor. 50% getting ready to come in for the Defiant. Corey does fall.
Yeah, and this is a moment where, you know, Ivy gets to showcase his Tracer skills, and the Justice are struggling to deal with it. Ivy's getting pulse bomb kills, he's doing too much consistent damage. And for the Justice now, you know, it's time to swap, it looks like. Giannis is going to go on to this Winston. They need to keep the May because they have the Blizzard available. It's such a big part of this composition, you can't swap off of that. But you've got one realistic shot to make this work. You're not going to build another Blizzard necessarily if you fail this push, and oh no.
Yeah, sleep on Guido. It's like Logix doesn't have an angle to try to get a headshot. Fell down the staircase, so couldn't quite line that one up. Stratus just spamming away, hoping perhaps that Ivy's going to be dashing into one of these icicles. Block going to have to be used. Giannis under fire, going lower and lower. Will get taken down by Ivy, but Stratus punishes him for it. The stick into the back, manages to find Logix. Again, Gons takes away another Blizzard though. That's 3 denied on this map. Stratus can just barely get that ultimate off. Sound barrier now through from a bomb up over the top from Samsung, looking for a pick. Will be able to knock Gons out of the back, but he's got a self-destruct of his own as we enter into OT. Gons does not find a pick, but he safely remechs here alongside the rest of his team. Punk frozen for the moment. Gets back out of that one. He thaws out. Echo going to be eliminated. The pile driver in. Sets up for the headshot from Logix. Gets rid of that pesky May. Now 8 going to be gone. Sound barrier out from Arc. Looking to get this flip. Looking to finally get on the board. They need a sliver more to take this back into their hands and try to close out this map. And it seems like they're going to be able to get it.
They are going to be able to get it. But the Defiant forced out a lot of ultimates, namely that sound barrier. That's huge that they were able to take that away because now they're going to have this massive sustain advantage. When their sound barrier comes online, they're going to have so much time to build it with a 99-0 lead they had. Stratus knows this, and he's going to try to use the Sombra swap here to kind of negate that ult advantage. Neko swaps over to Moira as well here. They're just looking for fast ult builds here. Namely the Coalescence in this case. Logix will also match the Sombra.
Sombra v Sombra, use that infra sight for just a moment. Try to spot out where Justice were getting set up for this defense. Corey looking around from the back, has that pulse bomb ready to go. Don't want to try to stick Neko. And Gons takes away another ultimate here coming through. Corey going to be denied that pulse bomb. Visual bug on that self-destruct icon. Either way, Gons has just been consuming massive amounts of ultimates here in this map. But Sansa comes up with 2 as Gons gets knocked out of the mech by the self-destruct and Ivy taken down. Akbum just swinging around the back. Halted for now. They know that they have time on their side.
That's the 4th ultimate he shut down this map. He's got 5 self-destruct kills. Very impressive D.Va play, but it's not enough.
That's going to be close to the record for most of the map.
Yeah,
Maybe Captain Planet will chime in.
Yeah, it's definitely up there, you have to imagine. But Defiant now looking for this EMP fight. That's exactly what they want here before Arc has a sound barrier. There's a tiny window, and they know it.
Recalling used off screen by Ivy. Pulse bomb goes through. Not going to be able to find a stick. Not going to be able to find a kill, but Giannis still going to be taken down. A lot of damage being pushed forward. Ivy nearly falling. Does manage to survive. Neko gets hacked. There's a sliver of HP remaining, trying to stay alive. Sound barrier comes through from the Washington Justice. We're going to close this one out as they get closer and closer. God soaks him back off the point with the self-destruct. Makes it back into the mech safely, but Neko was the cost. They lose out on Ham.
Corey's down.
Going to be taken down. Logic's now falling. Stratus nearly has the EMP. He gets rid of Yakpung. Ivy going to be eliminated. Washington Justice. They might just be able to take this first map. 4% more to go. God's rather going to be knocked out of that mech. Neko already fading away. Trying to buy some time. OT dwindling. They barely tag in. Aid making it down now. Has to use the sound barrier.
Deleted.
He's killed off. Logic's gonna be the only one with that shield still rolling, and it doesn't last very long. Yakpung gonna fall. Washington Justice starting this series off. It's scrappy, but it's a statement. They're coming out on top 2-1. Just have to clean up those few final kills as OT dwindles, and they've got it.
Aid choked big time on the sound barrier there. The first fight that they were going with, he had that advantage there. Arc had already used his. He waited too long. His teammates were all dead. He comes back, and that's when Stratus has the EMP. His sound barrier gets deleted. He should have used the sound barrier in the previous fight, but he thought he didn't need it, and that cost them the map. Huge mistake that we have to recognize here.
1-0 start for the Washington Justice. Let's see what happens on Assault when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
And welcome back. We are one map deep into this series. It's already chaotic, but Washington Justice were able to come out on top. 2-1 victory there on Busan to start the series off right.
It was a pretty crazy start, you know, to this series, and that's what you expect to see from, you know, basically the mixed rosters are the ones that are running the most Tracer and the most, you know, sort of Sombra Tracer style of play, the Reapers that we're seeing as well. You know, you're not seeing Vancouver really run this that much. You're not seeing that from New York as much, you know, outside of Anubis B. So kind of expected to see something similar to Houston, Paris. You know, you and I were talking about it before the show. It's kind of what we expected to see on Busan. It was exactly that. But one of the cool things that we saw was Reaper Mirror, and, you know, it was Reaper v Reaper, but at the same time, there were caveats to that. It was Reaper Hanzo versus Reaper Mei, and kind of how those stats, you know, match up would be interesting to see. We're going to take a look at that in a moment. Here it is, Corey versus Logix here.
It's the first time that we've ever had a Reaper stat card this season.
And even though at the beginning, it was actually pretty tough for Corey, he was able to really swing this into his favor once they were able to get that high ground back. And the Mei allows a Reaper to guarantee damage at targets he couldn't otherwise chase down because of the slows from her, you know, just regular left click. Ends up getting way more Death Blossom kills because of that corridor moment. Final blows spike up with that Death Blossom as well. And, you know, overall, Logix played a good game of Reaper, but you could see the difference of how
Reaper synergizes with different heroes, and it's kind of cool to see how well Mei can set up these kills. I mean, you could even ice wall someone off, so they can't actually escape.
Yeah. Well, we do have some substitutions here coming through. It's going to be Mangachu taking it to the stage. Ivy going to be subbed out for now.
Yeah, you know, two incredible projectile players. Fortunately, can't play them both at the same time. We'll have Otto in for Stratus as well. Now, this is a really exciting moment because this is a moment I think a lot of people were waiting for. We haven't seen Otto play real DPS since he was on the Shanghai Dragons. And before that, of course, MVP Space, but he was always regarded as a very good DPS player. People thought, okay, you know, he went from one bottom team in 2018 to another one in the Justice, but not only that, he didn't get to play his main hero pool. So now he's in. It's not Brigitte Otto, and this is a very exciting moment.
Someone argued that he didn't get to play much when he was on Shanghai either. It's very one-sided matches most of the time. But
Sure.
Temple of Anubis going to be coming up next with Mangachu coming in. Do we get some Torbjorn, perhaps? Some turrets set up. We know that high ground spot just around the right-hand side when you first enter through the archway is a fairly frequented one, but seems like he's going to be moving over towards that Junkrat, at least for now.
Yeah, so we will see the Junkrat Widow set up here for the Defiant. Remember, this is, again, mostly for dive precaution. And if I knew Otto had just been subbed in to Temple of Anubis, I'd be a little bit concerned about Genji too. But they have the Batiste as well, so a little bit of extra protection with the Immortality Field, and also a lot of damage potential for the Junkrat there with the Amplification Matrix. The Justice will have to kind of scope this out before they decide whether they want to swap Otto onto something like the Genji. Looks like they're going to commit for now.
Yeah, just going to be pushing forward with this. Both teams going to have a sufficient amount of shield break, despite the the Roadhog not being there for the Toronto Defiant. God still sticking through with the Diva, but they have Mangachu, so he can break down those Orisa barriers very swiftly.
Yeah, that's another great thing about Junkrat in this composition. You've got the peel, you've got the damage, and you're so good at fighting this choke.
Ball comes in trying to block some damage, but Giannis going to be taken out. Logic's finding the shot before an Immortality Field can even come through. They clean that one up, but Arc is well eliminated. Now Mangachu pushing around the back, throwing down the traps, trying to bounce those grenades in, and already has a Riptire online.
Logic's hits really incredible shots there too. There's a tiny window because you use the barrier there that Otto used just to block that incoming damage and then try to pass the point. That's why he drops it immediately. And the reaction time we had there was insane. So great play there by Logix. And we'll see if he can hit some more of these as they have full control of the zone right now. And you're starting to wonder, if you're watching the Justice, is this Mei the right move? Should they maybe swap to dive? Because he hasn't been able to do almost anything.
Well, Impresight now going to be coming in. Riptire thrown through. Mangachu trying to weave it into the back. Finds Guido and takes him down.
Great play there to avoid the Immortality Field. And, obviously Logix was taking it out anyways, but really nice tire there. And that's why we see Mangachu come back in. Ivy was also a great Junkrat player in his time in Korea, but I mean, I think with this roster, you probably want to run Mangachu in this case. Showing us some great rap play already, and the Justice, this isn't working.
Yeah, it's 43 seconds on that first all earned. So very swift. I think he peaked around like 17,500 damage per 10 minutes.
Yeah, crazy numbers.
Really solid stuff so far from Mangachu, looking to build up that next one. Neko is going to be sitting in the back and throw that Amp Matrix forward here for his team. Be holding it here for now, but Yakpo going to be taking down Corey this time, comes out on top, gets rid of Logix. Haven't seen Orez come in yet. Dragon Strike going to be tossed through. They have to cut their way up the back staircase, and that's Washington Justice getting ready to get set up here on the point.
They finally are able to get into a position for Corey to pop off.
Now pulling in there onto Aid. Might just shut down this recontest. They're still pushing forward. Mangachu gonna get punished. The Riptire comes in, does get killed off, and actually manages to get some vengeance. Takes down two. Can they actually swing this back into their favor and reestablish control of the point?
Very unlikely.
God's now gonna be knocked out of the mech. They are trying. Immortality Field is there for the Baby Diva for a little bit longer. God's trying to dodge around everything, but Otto comes back in, manages to find the snipe. And that will be the cap here on to point A. 4 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock for the Justice.
I mean, the Riptire gets two, but now it's a tool you don't have. It's a little bit unfortunate. They bought a few seconds with that, but at the end of the day, the Justice is probably very happy that that ultimate was committed, especially because he's not going to swap and he is going to keep it. Corey really made the big plays there on the attack. If he didn't get that pick and did all that damage once he had that one chance to, we might be still in the choke point. So
This is a decent time bank, all things considered. They've got the Blizzard.
We know that Gods has the defense matrix, so we'll see if he can claim another ultimate here.
The reason why auto ice blocks there, by the way, is not because he thought he was going to die and he needed the healing. He was scared he'd get headshot while mid-air. That's a common thing you'll see main players do right now in a meta that's dominated by snipers.
It's just the safest thing that you can do.
Yeah, you just don't want to risk it.
Momentum also helps carry you across to the other side of the archway. So you are not set up for a follow-up shot as soon as you come out of the ice block. Wrap around the left-hand side here from the Washington Justice, another Riptire. Thrown in by Mangachu, looking for the hit, but this time Corey, he comes out on top. That was a Transcendence used by Guido, so maybe a bit of a panic here. Keeps everybody else topped up, but now it's gonna be a bomb tossed in a little bit deep, looking for a pick. Just gonna be the Supercharger going down. Mortality Field now thrown in by Arc. Dragon Strike gonna be tossed out as well, looking to disperse some members of Defiant off of the point. Giannis going lower and lower, has to peel back into the catacombs to try to stay alive. Blizzard thrown down. It's just a freeze up Gods, and the whole hog will pop him out of that mech. Stuck now in the back of the point. Right click's coming through Sansa, looking to get the lockdown there on the 8th, but it's gonna be Guido who comes up with a snipe, hit him with the orbs, manages to find the kill. Dragon Strike, now answer it in, throws through, but Mortality Field is gonna be there, but Corey's still gonna get clipped by a Bionade from Neko, so will get taken down.
Great wall here too, it's so tough to recontest.
Still in onto the point, Mangachu with the swap over onto the Reaper, gonna get frozen up. Immortality Field keeps him alive. 8 swapping over to that one at the last second, comes in clutch, but can they turn this one around? God's now gonna be eliminated and lose out on that defense matrix. Pile driver in, Arc gonna get cleaned up. Now auto gone, Mangachu, he's turning it around. He comes up with a triple kill. He's looking for a quad, but he can't get it. Guido manages to kill him off, but Yakpung is there. They capitalize, and Toronto Defiant actually hold them back. We're down under 2 minutes to get to 88%, but Toronto can now drain the clock.
Guido's trance to get them onto the point was really cool, and the Justice committed. They had such a great fight. They were able to get the Blizzard into position, but it just isn't enough. At the end of the day, here's going to be the nano boost onto Mangachu, which is how he's able to clean this up through Guido's second Transcendence. As soon as it fades away, Mangachu's able to come in here and just do unheard of damage. But now the Justice are going to swap over to their own Reaper here. You need that extra damage to bust up the delay tanks when you've only got 90 seconds left. This is a great choice on Anubis B, almost universally used right now here in the first 2 days of Stage 4. And in this fight, they can build a Blizzard. That's absolutely doable.
Working their way up the front. Ice Wall used by Logix, trying to delay them. Mangachu weaving back and forth between the barrier, trying to get the shots in, now has the Death Blossom online. Mortality Field is used, but still holding on to the ultimate for a little bit longer. They get the nice Bionade there onto the tanks, now he drops down! Oh man, another quadruple kill coming in for Mangachu. This cleans up house, and seems like his time here on the Reaper is done.
Yeah, he doesn't need to play it anymore. Perhaps the Mangachu sub was not for the Rat. Perhaps it was for the Reaper all along. 2 clutch plays. One with the Nano Boost, the second with a Death Blossom, Nanoless, to really shut down the Justice's approach. They have the ice, the Blizzard ready. They have the ability to set up a fight here, but getting to the point itself without the Transcendence this time, Guido doesn't have it. He swapped over to the to the Ana. There's a lot of hero swaps going on in this game. It's tough to get onto it. He's going to try to force his way in with this wall.
This wall is up. They get the pop up there onto Giannis, knocking him into the air. Wall now gone. Auto in the back, looking to freeze up Gods. Can perhaps drop that Blizzard. Holding on to it so far. Self-destruct is available. Blizzard comes in. And again, Gods takes it away. This man is absolutely insane today. No May ultimates getting through. He knew where he was. Another one. Riptire nearly online here from Mangachu. They look to hold them off. Sansa, he'll be able to take away Logic's Blizzard, but the damage is already dealt. The OT is taking down. Soundberry connects on the 2. They get Guido at the end, and they actually hold them off. 88% is what they can gather, but they cannot get the cap on B.
Gods negates a 5th ultimate this series alone. Insane play on the Diva. He tracked where Otto was and was able to deny that, despite how sneaky Otto thought he was. Gods does not miss a Blizzard.
Absolutely insane play from Gods and from Mangachu on that Reaper. Let's see what happens on Toronto's attack when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Good as new. Let them up.
.2% is what the Toronto Defiant are going to be looking to beat here as they get ready to move over onto their attack. Justice getting set up on the defense, looking like it's going to be a Widow Junkrat.
We already saw Stratus play Mei previously on Busan, and Otto had, until this moment, only played the Mei as well. So this might be further insights. It's been a long time since we've seen Otto, obviously, playing damage heroes. So this might be further insight as to why the sub occurred, as he will be playing the Junkrat on defense here. Didn't get to see the Auto Genji, unfortunately. But we will see that from Mangachu, at least from the outset here. That's the play, that's the plan. Dive, but with a Reaper Flare. Not a lot of synergy between these two heroes. Whew. And that's a rough start.
Very good start for Corey, though.
Now, the crux of this strategy, again, is to build a Dragon Blade, just like we saw from Vancouver Titans yesterday, using the Mercy as the pocket, potential so that you do more damage, your damage boosts, and then also, when you get, chunked down, you're going to be healed.
Oh, well, trying to pull him back in onto that trap. Unable to do so for Yakpung, but God's still going to get caught up. Is nearly knocked out of the mech. Will suffer that fate now. Mangachu also gets cleaned up by Otto.
And the Junkrat, race here to the Riptire is going very well for Otto. 64%. So he's going to have the potential, because of the slow blade build here and the fast pick we saw on the Mangachu, he has a potential to even Riptire before the blade is ready and have a second Riptire ready before that blade is available. It's not guaranteed by any means, but you feel very flexible in this case when you're the defending Junkrat and you know the Genji hasn't done much build on that blade.
Corey getting a little feisty, pushing up. Get that shot in, always dangerous when you're playing against a Genji. Well-timed deflect can always take yourself out. Bionade in on the two. Logics and Mangachu getting caught. Wraith Walk takes away one, but now Yakpung locked up into the trap. A prime target. Riptire does come out. Manages to find aid. He'll get taken out. Mangachu as well going to be eliminated, further slowing up that Dragon Blade. So maybe Otto will be able to get one in time. God's trying to stay in the mech, but will not be able to do so.
It's crazy that, we've gotten to such a place in high-level Overwatch where one ultimate is your entire strategy, your entire plan. The Reaper here isn't making his life any easier, to be honest. I mean, it hasn't really been able to get in position to break up the barriers or, threaten the Orisa. And there it is. There's the stall on that. So look, I mean, Otto, there's a chance he could actually beat Mangachu to the Dragon Blade. It's a slim one at this point, but I mean, if this next fight goes his way, he'll have it.
I mean, if they can pick off Mangachu, he's hovering around the right-hand side at the moment. They're looking for him.
And that's why the Defiant are just using passive charge here, because they know that they need this blade to hit. They're not going to take any risks otherwise.
Blade about to be online, 3% more to go. Supercharger going to be taken away. Corey into the back, looking for some shots. Gets the hit there on the Yakpung. Now the Primal Rage comes through. Stopping himself back up. The Nano Blade is out, and that's going to be Corey and Guido both vanishing. A nice magic trick here from Mangachu as he gets a third. He looks for a fourth. He won't be able to find it. Otto does manage to take down Yakpung, but the damage is done, and Toronto Defiant are in onto the point.
We were talking about yesterday who's going to be the next Genji to try to match Hoxel's style, and Toronto has mirrored it here. Mangachu, the next one to come up with the big blade kills, gets him a little bit faster than Hoxel did yesterday. And he will now swap over to the Sombra. We see a complete composition swap here outside of the Reaper. It's very common to use on B. When you know all you have to do is take B, period, and you've got 4 minutes to do it, I think there's definitely a good argument to try the Reaper out.
Hovering into the back, waiting for his opportunity.
This has an unhappy ending one way or the other if they interact with each other.
Well, definitely don't want to push up towards Arc with that Burkina at the moment.
No.
Reptire coming out from Auto to start things. Right here up the left side, hasn't taken that much damage. Will be able to pop Logics. Gets rid of one. Hack goes for it here onto Giannis. Just going to be hiding around the corner. As Megachu tries to build up that EMP. It's going to be an eco push here for the Toronto Defiant, just trying to get as much online as they possibly can. And then come back in. Still have 3 minutes on their side, so certainly winnable.
The Brigitte swap here for Arc is pretty cool. I think at first glance it looks like a counter to potentially the Genji follow-up, or potentially, you know, dealing with that Sombra. But I think it's more than that. You don't really need slow healing. You need burst healing against a Reaper who's coming in your face and doing a ton of damage. You know, against hacks where they're focusing down one target, the burst healing is so valuable, and so is the rally. So not only do you have that, but you also have the ability to shut down a Reaper who is up there with the stun. So, yeah. I mean, I really like this kind of teched-in Brigitte here for the B defense.
Yeah, the stun out of the Death Blossom is going to be crucial if they can nail that one. Nano boost start forward here onto Giannis. Manages to build up that Primal Rage. Gon's in that corner, stuck and going lower and lower. Will get knocked out of the mech again. Death Blossom going to be committed here outside the point. Logics burns the ultimate. They're still pushing forward. They managed to find one as the Winston falls, but he's going to be able to rejoin with the Primal Rage online. That being said, Sansam going to be knocked out of the mech. The Baby Diva eliminated, and now Corey taken down as well, so maybe they can actually translate this into a cap. They really have that first hit coming through, but Giannis is back onto the point that Bubble used. Going lower and lower, Primal Rage comes in. Sound barrier's out from Age, shielding up his team. Knockpunk taking a nap for now as the Primal Rage expires. They'll get woken up, the bubble coming down. Corey rejoining with the Doom Fist, punches forward, finds Megachu, taking him out, but now Arc is gonna fall. Double truck from Sansam, not gonna be able to find a pick. First tick still not there, however, for the Toronto Defiant. Looking better and better as Gons gets another one, as you say, the pulse buff taken away from Auto. Corey taken down, Sansam knocked out, eliminated again. Second tick rolls through, just need a little bit more, and Giannis does not stand a chance. They take him down so swiftly, and Toronto Defiant will be able to cap B. They will be able to tie us up.
Very much an overextension by the Justice, fighting off the point, and Logix gets the opportunity to Death Blossom away from the point and have that follow-up damage for the EMP that came out just afterwards. Very clean play from Mangachu, a great substitution for the Defiant, and he carries them to a tied series.
Yeah, carries them on that defense and helps them get across the line, so we are all tied up 1-1 as we get ready to go into halftime, so we'll see who comes out on top when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
Got you good as new. Let them up. them up.
Nice.
Nice. Good job.
I just can't keep getting away from things being eaten. It's sad.
I've eaten like 5 blizzards. So
Okay,
far.
all right.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, we're good. Oh, we're good then.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah,
man.
one
Don't
of
worry
mine is
about
good
it.
then. All right. Can't make the kid feel too bad.
Good job.
Yep.
He's eating up the snow. Blizzard Arena makes some noise. We got a packed house. It's Saturday, and we have some. No, it's Friday. Jump the gun. It's Friday. Already a fantastic start to the weekend. Let's save that one. We've got Zoe. We've got Budget Steve Harrington.
Yep.
Character from Stranger Things. For those of you who don't watch Netflix, Brent, you look fantastic.
Strange.
Thank you.
So,
How are you feeling? You went Washington while Zoe went Toronto on the pre-show. How do you guys feel about your teams after the first 2 maps?
Reasonably confident. I'm not going to go fully confident. Just kind of like half and half after that that Temple of Anubis game. But I mean, still anyone's game at this point.
All right, let's see where we started this match. It all kicked off on Busan, and we wanted to keep our eyes on the damage dealers today, Zoe.
Oh, we did for sure. And I mean, neither of them really disappointed. Corey had an exceptional game. Stratos also kind of turned into a little bit of a carry right there. It was great to see Ivy back in the mix as well. However, Toronto, even though they looked very strong coming into this, they kind of dropped the ball towards the end of the map. It was a little bit disappointing. It got very scrappy really quickly.
This was Toronto's game to win, and honestly, I was perpetually confused with the Washington Justice on map 1. I
didn't like that Reinhardt pick, no?
Yes, the Reinhardt picks from Janice. I couldn't quite wrap my head around what they were trying to attempt from it, because it's a little bit of a slower tempo hero to be running right now in a meta where you've got Shield Break with Orisa, Roadhog compositions, or very high tempo Winston D.Va comps, and it doesn't really fit too much. So when Janice was picking the Reinhardt, that's when you started to see them lose. But then they managed to turn it around again later.
It wasn't just the Reinhardt being the issue. I think at the very beginning when they came out with Mei and Reinhardt, there was nothing really to split off on the
I just
other
didn't like
team
the
either.
comp. Like, just
as an overall, yeah.
Brent disagreed with the comp.
They switched it
right
up. They
away.
won in the end.
You did like the victory, though, and that went to Washington for our first point. Brent, can you walk us through how did Washington walk away with a win when it looked like this was all Toronto's game?
Yes, I've got a State Farm, the Ult Economy, I should say, sponsored by State Farm, of course. I want you to pay attention here. It's the final moments of map 1 right now. You can see it's 99% to 76%. 99%. They have to win one team fight, and they win the map right now for Toronto. Aid has his sound barrier, and that's the key ultimate. That's the win condition, okay? But he doesn't want to use it. He wants to hold on because he thinks that Stratus has built up the EMP, but Stratus doesn't have the EMP. There's been a clear lack of communication regarding that, and he holds on to it, and he holds on to it, and people are dying in the kill feed, and he's still holding on to the sound barrier, and he's still not using it, and his team ends up losing the team fight for it. The final team fight, the one they need to win, the one that they would have won had Aid used the sound barrier, still holds on to it, ends up losing it. Here's the final moments here. It's tragic to see. I had to point it out here. You can see his team's dying around him. He's panicking. He's like, oh God, I gotta use the ultimate. And then he gets hacked and stunned and killed out of it. That is my Ultimate Economy, sponsored by State Farm. And it's the importance, I think, of tracking ultimates and having the communication regarding that. And there's a clear lack of that right there. And that's the reason the Washington Justice ended up winning that map. That one mistake has cost them that first map.
It's so tough, right? You're the Lucio. You don't want to waste the sound barrier with a Sombra EMP just wiping it off all of your teammates. You hold it too long, you get burnt. But Toronto is able to bounce back, and we see a tie score. So let's talk about that second map. What did we see on Anubis other than Otto's tires?
Oh man, Anubis was an absolute blast to watch for one reason in particular for me, and that was generally Gods and Mangachu. So I guess that's 2 reasons and lied.
I'll take it.
But that's okay. No, Mangachu coming in as a Junkrat, I think it was a reasonable attempt at defending. A didn't quite work out, but then when they headed onto B, the Reaper came out and it worked so very well. It also forced Corey to step onto the Reaper, so for a little bit we had a bit of a mirror match there. But Mangachu got full support from his team. He got nano-bladed and he fended him off not once but twice with a 4 or 5 or even 6K. I can't remember, numbers are hard. Yeah. But he made it work and it was absolutely beautiful. And then when he went onto the Genji, it took him a long, long time to get that blade, but once he got it done, it was no hacksaw, as you said.
It's a budget hacksaw.
It was like a budget hacksaw,
budget hacksaw.
but it got the job done and they did get A for it.
Now, I already asked you guys backstage who is going to win this match, and you both stuck with your pick. But, Brent, I want to hear from you first. If we're going to see your team, Washington, walk away with the victory, who's the player that leads this team?
Well, one player I want to step up individually is actually Addo on the Mei. I spoke to a lot of pro players just before, we went into stage 4, and they all said the team with the better Mei player is probably going to be the ones that win, because it's so important you get the wall timings off. And Addo, compared to Logix in that last map, was the real kind of difference maker, I think, as well as to why Toronto were able to take it in the end. So if Washington are to take this and they continue to run those compositions and Addo's still in the lineup, I think he needs to step up a little bit.
Addo or Stratus on that, May. What about you, Zoe? Who's got to lead the team for Toronto to make your prediction correct?
Well, see, in my case, I for once not going to ask someone to step it up, but just, you know, stay exactly where you are, and that's God. He's been saying it at the very beginning when we just came in to this halftime that, oh, you had like 6 ults. Actually, yeah, you did. Let's take a look at his stats right there. 6 ults negated. 4 of them were on map 1. Not a single blizzard came through. And then he's swapping onto Addo and he runs into the same issue. Throwing a blizzard in there and Gods just takes it away from you. He also ate a pulse bomb. So overall, Gods did a phenomenal job in peeling for his team and negating those ults. So I hope to see more of that.
Single map record set by Gods for 4 ults negated in that first map. He has 6 in just the first half. Blizzard Arena, are you guys enjoying the games? Are you ready for some more? Game 3 coming up on the other side of this commercial break.
I started watching some streams of the pros, and the pros were amazing. And one of the biggest guys I saw was awesome was hydration. He was part of the Gladiators.
Suddenly I'm at every game, and
the beautiful LEDs, the cheers of the crowd.
It shields up. It's thunderous applause. It's roaring in the arena. It's a lot of clap, clap, stomp, stomp. You just kind of get sucked into it.
And I've been hooked ever since.
Dive, but with a Reaper flare. Not a lot of synergy between these two heroes. Whew. And that's cool.
Welcome back. We are halfway through our series, but of course, we have the grand finals for the 2019 season coming up at the end of September on the 29th. Make sure you guys get your tickets. We still don't know who is going to be in that grand final. There's a lot of potential here. Toronto's still in the running. The Washington Justice, not so much, but they still at least currently find themselves tied up 1-1 in this series, looking for another win.
Certainly true. I mean, this series could go either way. I think the halftime show kind of broke down a lot of those big moments. You know, Aid messing up on the first map. Otto's, you know, May looking all right. You know, I have to have, you know, some questions too about some of the compositions we were seeing from the Washington Justice there. But we're seeing a lot of Reaper. And, you know, heading into our next map of Blizzard World, I think that might change because it's not as powerful. We will have Ivy back in the lineup here.
Gonna be reverting both compositions back to control. Ivy subbing in for Mangachu on the other side for the Washington Justice. We will also see Stratus, who's got his cool shades on, subbing back in for Otto.
Yep. I don't think he'll be playing with those on. I don't think he'll be playing with those.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got his glasses on underneath.
Yeah, he's doing the double glasses. Double glasses look. I like it.
Someone tell him about clip-ons. Stratus looks great.
It's a solid look he's got going on.
We've seen Stratus with the sunglasses. We've seen Semler with the sunglasses this season. Who's next?
Well, here we go. As you said, Blizzard World getting ready to come up. This was, you know, kind of where the map where Corey really showed his Widowmaker chops the first time.
Yeah, he had a lot of highlights on his first Blizzard World map back at the beginning of the season. When we look at Stratus here, it is going to be the Mei once again, but it won't be with the Reinhardt. It's going to be just high ground control with Orisa here. You know, the more bunker-esque composition. It's not, you know, what we call traditional bunker, but it is the Orisa Roadhog Mei.
The scouting Roadhog there, boosting him up so he can see over the wall towards the spawn.
It's actually really tough to break on Blizzard World because of the sightline disadvantage you have as the attacking Widow. Just like Anubis, you just have such a big problem here through Logics.
Drop down coming in from the Washington Justice, just taking the fight down here towards the statue.
Mega Bio
connects on a 4. They have that immortality field just now going to get burned down. Hulk pulls everybody together. Giannis, sliver of HP will get cut down. Logic's able to find the kill, but it's at the cost of Ivy. They push forward off of this one. Rez now going to be coming in as the barrier goes up. So Ivy backing into the fight. Dragon Strike is 27% away.
There's no real reason for the Justice to have dropped down there quickly. And now, I mean, this is a fight that the Defiant are very unlikely to lose.
Well, Sleep comes in, Ivy. Caught by that one. Trapping around that backside is Corey, looking for a shot, pops up over the top, unable to find the hit. Wall comes back in. Catch off Yakpung here, but he's got the barrier for a little bit longer and the Bionade to help burst him back up. Sliver of HP makes it around the corner. Now the infra side is in for Logics. Corey still a little bit further away from that one. 20-some-odd% left to go. Yakpung going low. Anubis will come out from Neko, trying to keep him alive. Gods is anti. Peels back around the corner. Keeps himself safe, but Yakpung, he doesn't have the defense matrix to try to protect him. He's left out to dry and does get taken down. For now, still holding on to the Washington Justice. They give up one tick.
You know, a lot of people have been critical of the Justice for not wanting to pull the trigger, but in this case, they played passive and wait till the last.
Oh, hello, Velogix! He comes out on top! Corey had the infrasight. He knew exactly where he was, but Logix was ready for it.
And, you know, I mean, these moments, these small battles, obviously, which was massively, you know, in favor of the Justice here, are going to deplete a lot of the time bank. For the Justice, they're going to operate on the low ground now, which again, you know, can be risky, can be a mistake, but with the stagger spawns coming through after those last few kills, you feel pretty comfortable here. Now is going to be the time for Logics to get that angle. You can see him doing the damage now. He can flank, it's huge.
Corey manages to find the first pickoff here. Ivy going to be taken out again. Vitality field used. Stratus just plays up here into the front. Hulk is thrown out, but not going to be able to line anything up. They get the res, but Logic's now gone. So pick your poison. As far as 8 is concerned, which sniper do you want to res? You only get one of them.
All right, Corey here has the better angle. She misses the grapple there. That's very risky to do, by the way. It puts you in line of sight of the enemy Widow. But he takes the risk, he's willing to do it.
We know how good Logix is. Supercharger coming through. And now Blizzard going to be greeting them around the corner. This time Khan's not going to be able to set up for an eat, but no one getting frozen. Hulk comes in, they look for the pool. Yakpung up, but he's going to clip the wall, so he's still going to be all right. Dragon Sight now rolling through over the point. Giannis going to be taken down. Arc gone as well. And that should be the breakthrough here. One final shot from Ivy finishes off Stratus. Point A going to be taken, but it's with less than a minute remaining on the clock. So honestly, a very good hold to start things off here for the Washington Justice.
And Stratus's Blizzard was not well placed. It didn't hit anyone. And you know, you mentioned Gods wasn't able to eat it, but I think the reason why it was so poorly placed was because of the fear of Gods, you know. He had the fear of Gods in his heart, man.
He threw it down behind the wall.
And it's just, you know, he's got to try to make sure it goes off, but then if it's just too far away from everyone, it's not effective.
Well, the Hulks keep coming out from Yakpung, but there's no Roadhog here. Just going to be the Diva God, sticking through with that one. Not sure if this is a stylistic choice or it's a feeling that he's not going to be able to perform well enough, but now draw to Defiant. They're looking alive. They're pushing forward. Ivy, he's shooting heads here with these arrows.
He's winning the matchup against Stratus pretty hard right now. I mean, Stratus had all the advantages in that last fight and just wasn't able to hit the shots. Ivy surges ahead and has another Dragon Strike ready. This barrier's down. High ground's controlled by Ivy.
Oh,
hello. That was a risky play there by Corey.
Another jump scare. And now he's going to be pounded down. Ivy loses out on that Dragon Strike. Suns coming up with an 8. Seeing it from him, and then Nano Boost is here onto the Widowmaker looking for a shot. Set in for sight rolling. Pop up over the top for something, but everyone just kind of playing around him quite nicely. Body shot there. Goes through on the Neko. He's unable to get the finish, but that time Ivy thought he was being cheeky with that dash over the side. He gets taken out. Corey takes his head off.
The Dragon Strike Eat actually is quite important for this because it was the Dragon Strike absorb from Sansam with the defense matrix that actually made it possible for the Justice to maintain their position. Otherwise, they would have lost sight advantage and Corey wouldn't have been able to get those last shots we saw there on the edge. So they can actually regain control of the high ground again. Ivy's going to have to try to retake that here with Gods. As you can see them flanking here on the other side.
And a boost here onto Gods as he goes into the back. He's looking to finish off Arc. So little HP, but he manages to stay alive. The Sleep Dart coming in.
Logic's
lock him up, but Logic's comes up with 2, getting rid of the DPS members on the side of the Washington Justice. Both eliminated. Arc coming up with any reses. Gods gets knocked out of that mech, drops low to keep himself safe, and then self-destruct actually finds Giannis. Suppose he didn't have a barrier ready to go.
Gods carried everything. He pulled the attention away with the Nano Boost, gave Logic's line of sight, and he was able to get those kills. Then he gets the self-destruct. Now he's DMAX Sansam.
Yeah, kept him busy. Sansam self-destruct just has to be used to try to get back in. Is able to do so. He's not going to be able to find any picks, and the cart is approaching point B. They will finally contest this one as Sansam pushes forward. The barrier's thrown down from Giannis. Gonna hold on here, 20 seconds remaining. Logic's gonna be gone, but now Stratus punished. And go out-snipe him here with that Ana, but Corey comes up again, manages to find another one. Gets up close and personal, tries to find a shot there onto 8, but he's unable to do so.
Eric barely gets that res through the Dragon Strike.
All back through, Stratus has the Storm Arrows ready. The dink there on the Yacht Pump. Trying to break down the barrier, they're able to do so, but can they get the finishing blows? Bionade connects onto the front line. God's gonna be knocked out of the back. Ivy res back in, but he needs to pop off right now if they want to push this through into B. Logic's gonna be taken out. Stratus finds him again. Storm Arrows coming through. 8 gonna be gone. Neko not there. Wrapping around the backhand side, comes in, gets a Bionade down onto Stratus. They finish him off. And they actually close this out. Corey is looking to shut them down. Dashes forward, just spraying away with the machine gun. And that's where the cart stops. 3.5 meters away from B.
This is not terrible for the Defiant, though. This is Blizzard World in this meta. Finishing Blizzard World extremely rare. And we'll see if the Toronto Defiant can have a great hold when Logix has line of sight advantage as the defender on A. This is absolutely winnable for the Defiant.
Sharing the sunglasses, feeling cool after that defense there in front of B. We'll see if Washington Justice can move up here in the set. So get ready to move into their half.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
I'm on fire.
Dragon Rage.
And here we go, Washington Justice able to hold off the Toronto Defiant just in front of point B. Gonna be looking to get the strong push here. Stratus and Corey having some fun, sharing the sunglasses, passing those ones back and forth.
The DPS duo here, you know, Corey and Stratus finally together on heroes they would like to play. No longer relegated to the diva is Corey. Stratus, you know, we've seen him play quite a few different heroes throughout the first 3 stages, but now gets to play his main role. But they will be on the Mei and Hanzo, it looks like, again here for the attack. So not going to see the Mei Reaper or anything like that, no Giannis Reinhardt. But this is where it gets hard, right? This is the hard fight because Corey and Logix have definitely traded blows in terms of damage output on the Widow. You know, they're within 300 damage of each other, both 1/4 of their team's total damage at the moment. But this is where Logix gets to potentially end up being the stronger force. Corey's not even willing to match him on the Widow here as the attacker because he knows it's not very likely a winnable matchup. He has a much better chance of helping break a barrier or taking out a tank and winning a 6v5 fight with the Mei on the point.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running the Mei, the shield break, it would be entirely reliant on Sansam, basically, so it's very smart of Corey to be sticking through with the Hanzo. Wall comes up just to block off some sight lines here. They'll go back down. They don't get to advance too far forward. Nice block going to be burned there by Stratus as the Justice slowly inch their way up.
A wise and great Widow always knows his limits. Corey is just going to try to poke around here with the Hanzo. Ults are devastating.
Coming around the side there, man, just on the shot, Stratus gets taken out. Delay onto that Blizzard build.
Didn't have Ice Block, already used it.
Oh, Logix pulled in. Taken down actually before they can even yoink him. Giannis will get slept. You can see the body blocking coming through. The barrier is up, so he's going to be quite all right now. And Matrix coming through. Barrier stands no chance against the right clicks coming through from Sansam. They bust that one down. They're onto the point. Second tick getting ready to come in. Recontest is there. Dragon Strike goes through.
They need a touch.
Yep. Playing around that corner as they try to restabilize. Trying to Defiant, doing what they can, but now God's going to be demaxed. They keep going lower and lower. Baby Diva trying to pistol their way back in. 40% coming through. Neko going to be taken out. Anubis used. God's also gone. Yakpung eliminated. That's going to be the cap. Nearly 5 minutes on the clock for Justice to close out this map.
That's all it takes. You kill Logix, and he's unresable. Aid's not able to come in there, you know, and set that up. And the Justice get line of sight advantage, even though it's not, you know, Widow v Widow. It's still the Hanzo control that Corey has. And this is not okay for the Defiant. You know, everything I was talking about earlier about how this is winnable, how this is holdable, this is still realistic. Logix is a great Widowmaker player. They have side advantage, defender's advantage. All these things are deleted now. They needed to buy a lot more time on A to hope to have a chance to really win this map. Now it's very unlikely given the time bank.
Yeah, Infrasight is up for Logix. But we'll have to pop off a bit if they want to drain away this clock. Valkyrie out right now for Aid. Infrasight is rolling. Stratus nearly with the Blizzard online. One more right click will net it for him. They get the pull in onto Yakpung, trying to take him down. Dragon Strike goes through. Splits up off the cart, but they still manage to take down the main tank. And the whole hog from Sansam takes Gods out of his mech. So the front line completely shattered on the side of the Toronto Defiant. Now Ivy gone as well.
And Dragon Strike is so easily countered by Batiste Immortality Field. It's a great choice here from Arc. And he's got his Amplification Matrix ready. This is going to be a very difficult contest, if it's even possible at all. There it goes.
Yep, and Matrix throw down barrier in front. Still waiting, Dragon Strike, the Blizzard ready to go. They toss out that Blizzard, not going to be eaten. Right here onto the point as Yakpung tries to stay alive. He manages to drop the Supercharger, but it does not last. Nor does that push. They steamroll their way through. Washington Justice move up 2-1.
I mean, it's just as simple as that. You lose your Widow, you lose control line of sight, and it's going to be a steamroll. Great choice, but Arc on the Batiste versus the Dragon Strikes. And the Justice, man, they make it look easy. Very much a big momentum shift here.
Yeah, looking for that next victory. They are on the cusp of it. Match point here for the Justice as the hugs are exchanged. Want to celebrate too early, though. Toronto Defiant going to be hungry to tie us up again. We'll see if they can do it on Escort.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, Mika Burton here, and the score is currently 2-1 in favor of the Washington Justice over the Toronto Defiant. I got to talk to the Washington Justice about their new Swedish additions, Lolish and Elevote, and unfortunately, due to the signings being so recent, the Justice are still awaiting their visa approval, and so for now, Giannis and Sansum are Washington's frontline duo. Regardless, the Washington Justice informed me that their practice has gone a lot better with the introduction of roll lock, and they're feeling quite positive heading into the final stage of the year. Well, that's it for me. Back to you, Wolf and Achilleos.
Thank you very much, Mika. Good to get that little chime in on the Justice's roster movements. We'll see how Elibot and Losic is going to be faring here in the 2-2-2 setup. But right now, Washington Justice looking pretty darn good. Got the victory there on Blizzard World and are now looking to close out a series win. Match point for these guys. Just need to win on Havana.
Indeed, and you know, Havana is a great map for Widowmaker play, and it's also very good for May. We've already seen the Clockwork Vendetta composition utilized by several different teams on this map. You know, obviously we don't see the exact composition of CV a whole lot anymore in, you know, 2-2-2. It kind of messes with it, but it's harder to run. When we move into this, I think the big questions will be, because the Defiant can't lose this map, so, you know, how big of a risk do they want to put their, you know, what sort of risk might they take on A to try to make sure they can whittle down the time bank, or you know, they run something crazy to make sure they can get a good time bank. Looks like they will be defending first, so it's not going to be something risky. It's not going to be, you know, full bunker, Bastion or anything like that. It's just going to be as you'd expect, the double sniper Orisa Hog setup, and they'll have Neko on this Batiste for the same reason we saw Arc on it earlier. This has kind of been historically Batiste's best map since release.
Yeah, it's been very bunker heavy.
Yeah.
Not going to be seeing that so far, it would seem. We have the defensive setup here from the Defiant. I believe it was in Atlanta for the homestand. We saw them run that Clockwork Vendetta composition, but with Menkachu not in the mix, Ivy still sticking through. Just going to be the double sniper here for them.
That's right, and the Justice are going to be keeping Stratus on May.
Of course with 2-2-2, so there you go, the Zag as well.
Yeah, there is that, obviously. And even variations of it can be tougher to run in this meta, but Stratus is, you know, he's going to struggle to find damage here to build the Blizzard, but he has the,
you were saying?
When he's alive, he has the opportunity to help peel when drop-downs happen or when, you know, hooks come through. And once the cart rolls around this corner, he's going to start to have a lot more value. And obviously, he can block a lot of things with his wall. But once this cart gets around this corner, you're going to see Stratus have a lot more opportunity to really get up in the faces of the Defiant, force them back, while also threatening with his right clicks.
Halt in. God's playing the Roadhog, I believe, for the first time in the series. Not able to follow up with a hook, and it's healing back further and further. Barrier not surviving. Corey finding the one pick. A little bit of damage there. Just trying to play up. They destroyed that immortality field. Sonic Arrow down. Sliver of HP here for Neko, pushing on the corner. Corey trying to get that headshot through. Ultimate, he will be able to tap it. Cart still advancing quite smoothly here for the Washington Justice. Corey goes on the flank, surprising Ivy and Aid.
Yeah. For the Justice here, you know, this is exactly according to plan. You know, Corey gets that kill onto Logix early, and everything just kind of snowballs behind it. And for Gods, you know, it hasn't been his best hog game ever, but it's tough, you know, when you're the defender, but you have to fight around this corner. You've lost your sniper, you've lost all position, and see if he can turn things around. They're going to use this wall to kind of buy time to reposition. It's crazy how Mei has kind of become a pseudo third tank in a lot of ways.
You can tell they're reading the positioning of Logix so well right now, even though he's the one with the infrasight rolling. Trying to hold him back in, take him out. Guido finds the pick. Not sniping Ivy. Rez instantly comes in from Aid, but now Dragon Strike going to be tossed in by Corey. Seems like he's not going to be able to find any picks, but Sansam coming around the back to rip these supports apart. He's going to be taken down. It's an all-out brawl, a messy fight coming in, but Justice still persevere. Coming out on top, Logic's going to be waiting around the corner. Once again, the shot there on Sansam, but he's unable to do it. Guido finds another one.
By the way, Sansam has a 100% hook accuracy this game. He has not missed a single one. We are going to see a little bit of this in Stage 4, where you start to see these secret flex tank players start to emerge, because right now, you know, for a lot of Overwatch League history, it's been only D.Va as the flex tank you see. And it's like, well, you know, Sansam wasn't a great D.Va, but he's a great hog, and he's still playing the same role.
Yep. Gods has since given up on the Roadhog. They're on that D.Va. Looking to eat some ultimates. And now Supercharger going down. Blizzard gonna stick this time. Dragon Strike rolls in. Ivy trying to displace, doesn't come up with any kills. Ball's flowing. Corey pops around the corner, manages the Storm Arrow shot there onto Ivy. Didn't have much health remaining. And Washington Justice, they are just non-stop pushing this card through. Another bump up here on the time. Nearly 5 minutes at the end of Havana for the final stretch.
I hate to say it, but the D.Va has no place in this composition. It doesn't serve any purpose. You're not even eating bio grenades. You can eat, you know, damage coming through from the, you know, from the Hanzo, perhaps from the Roadhog. But otherwise, you know, you're just an ult battery in a lot of ways. You can eat the Blizzard, sure, when that comes online later, but that's not even the main point.
Trying to get that shot. Corey barely protected there.
Logix is shooting at barriers because they don't have a hog.
Yep, looking for the hits, Logix. Doesn't know which way to go. Let's get taken out. Corey finds that shot. Rez comes in. Logic's going to be back into the fight, but there's a bio nade. Now onto the front line. Oh, they're watching the Justice. It's Sansa. Barely makes it out alive. Takes a breather. Pulled back in, however. Slept and killed off. Finally stabilizing here are the Toronto Defiant on this defense as Stratus hides behind the forklift.
I think Sansam is 6-0 on his hooks right now. He has 6 final blows at the moment. I don't have a total hook stat for him, but he is doing a lot of damage. He is 2K ahead of Gods at the moment. They do stabilize here, but you can feel the missing utility of the hog. Like, this halt is less impactful without a hook to follow it up. So yeah, they get to sleep on Sansa, but he just wakes up and they keep pushing. He's got a whole hog.
Even if you get the headshot on the Sansam, it's not quite going to kill him off. He's got a lot of HP, it turns out. Defense Matrix can negate the halts coming through from the side of the Washington Justice, but it hasn't been that consistent here from Gods.
Extremely difficult to do.
Halt comes out there.
Oh my
It's going
God.
to be Ivy locked in place. Guido again lines up the shot. Pushback coming in. Sansam's going to be all right. Take a breather here in a moment. Gets top back up. Continues to break down the barriers, and Logic's going to get out-sniped by Stratus. The Icicle going through. Shots right up here into the front. Transcend's now out from Guido, keeping everybody alive. Bionade connects on the 2, but the Immortality field is down, and Stratus is going to be fine. Straight back into the fight. The cart will continue to advance. 2:40 on the clock.
God's in trouble.
Just a little bit further to go. He does manage to jet his way out of there. The hook not online.
100% accuracy still.
And still maintaining that.
I mean, watch out. He's not gonna take a shot unless he knows he's gonna get it.
Yeah. At this point, just don't use hook anymore. Finish it. 100%. Dragon Strike coming out now. Ivy looking to displace him. They get pulled in, but so does Gods.
Immortality
They can
field.
break that mech rather, and they will be able to do so. The Immortality field not focus fired. This will split them off, and now they're going to be wrapping around from the side. Yakpunk taking a bit of damage from that flank. Stratus comes in from behind with the main. He's nearly got another Blizzard online, and they know that Gods is still desuited. He nearly has it back up. Will he even have to use the Blizzard? It's going to be the question, because they are still rolling in. Somebody's got to contest this card. Finally will be able to do so. It's Gods, so he makes his way back in, but they freeze him, instantly drop the Blizzard, pop him out. Self-destruct going to be used, but they go into the ice block. No one else can tag, and Justice cruise through to the end of Havana.
Sansom finishes, again, 2,000 damage ahead of Gods, 100% hook accuracy. And the halts are there. He punishes every single time. And when you have a missing, Roadhog on the side of the Defiant, sure, there are things you can absorb. We basically listed all of them. But you're just not going to have that pick potential. And when your function is to stop halts, what happens next? Sure, Sansom doesn't get a hook out of the air, but your barrier's not going to last very long. You're making Yakpung's life twice as difficult because his shield is going to have to be replaced way more often because Sansom, when he's not hitting every single hook he throws out, he's breaking that barrier. And that gives Corey line of sight advantage. It makes Logic's life on the Widow so much more difficult. It makes Ivy's life more difficult because they don't have that protection when it is being broken down. And that's why we're seeing so much Hog and Orisa together. And Gods is not a bad Roadhog player by any means, but he's made the decision with his squad to run the D.Va instead, and I think it cost them big. And it just ends up being a really cool side point that Sansom had 100% hook accuracy. He's going to be going on to the D.Va now, so he's going to match what Gods did. Let's see if he has the same difficulties to find impact, or if he's able to do a lot more. I mean, Gods obviously did start on the Hog at first, then swap to the D.Va, but he's just going to start out right away. Yep. And it's a different composition. It's a Widow Pharah, not the traditional setup with the Hanzo.
Be a bit concerned if I was Stratus about Logic's being able to take me out of the sky. Pop up over the top, looks for the hit. Body shot there. Doesn't lead to a kill though.
D.Va can give a... So can Corey. I was going to say D.Va can put a lot of pressure on the Widow, so it makes it tougher to knock Pharah out, but it doesn't matter in this case.
Very good start here for Corey. Up over the top, and that's Netco gone. Res used here by 8, but that doesn't lead to the cart moving. Yada's dying, however, might. So we'll have to give up a little bit of space. Stratus actually is the one who comes up with the finishing blow onto Logic.
Leave some kills for me, says Stratus. It's actually at 50% of a barrage now. And the one time Gods isn't on D.Va could cost them big when that's ready.
Logic's around the back trying to survive. Give it in the hell. Oh, but he's off!
No
he
way!
pulls out the McCree! Flashbangs him and shuts him down! Oh man, the style swap from Logic's now gets rid of Arc!
The most impressive part of that was actually how fast he swapped heroes. He actually opened the heroes.
Is he hotkeying this?
He opened the heroes speed fast enough to make that happen.
Well,
that's
Ivy
insane.
Overstepping a bit. He can stabilize now. He also flipped back to Widow, then back to McCree to finish off Arc. And is now back on the Widowmaker. Insane from Logic's there. But Justice.
Let's add some context. It wasn't helpful. It wasn't good. It was not correct.
But it was damn cool.
It was cool. Okay, we do have to add the context that, he wants to be on the Widow, and he did have the sick BM deny. He was like, oh, you're gonna mess with me. You want to see how fast I can swap heroes?
Oh, that was fantastic. I can't wait to watch that again later.
The flashbang, makes it just anybody could have made that shot, but the swap, that was insane.
The speed at which it happened. Self-destruct gonna be tossed in, and there's nowhere to go. Triple picked up for Sansom.
Sansom's trying to get player of the match right now.
Let's just add another one. Let's just keep tallying him up.
He had 100% hook accuracy. Now he's hitting the big bombs. He's making the D.Va look valuable here, whereas Gods could not previously.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is, he's winning the flex tank matchup.
Gods was hungry for Blizzards earlier, but Sansom, he's hungry for blood. He's coming up with these kills. Justice Draining the clock down below a minute and a half. We have a Dragon Strike and a whole hog ready to go. Neko, however, going to be slept. Taking a bit of damage, manages to wake up, has that Transcendence just in case. Some tries to stay in the mech, but will not be able to do so. Let's get popped out. Neko, however, going to get picked. Stratus coming up with a kill. As he tosses in the Dragon Strike, he gets both supports back to back. Now Logix is gone as well, so quick potential here. Entirely reliant on Ivy. Toronto Defiant, they just look lost.
This is a Washington Justice unchained as well. You know, Corey and Stratus get to play double sniper. This is what they've wanted. This is what they dreamed of when they joined the Overwatch League. The roll lock makes it possible. The meta has changed. They're down on ultimates, but the Defiant, they are a fish out of water in this map so far. Just not able to make any halt hooks happen. There's a lot of synergy issues with this composition that are clearly showing here.
Toronto Defiant, you get the pull in, that's gonna be Corey gone. That alleviates a lot of pressure. Stratus getting rid of that immortality field, but no further follow-up. Barrier thrown down, card advancing.
See if Art can get a res. I don't think it's possible, there's no way.
Now Guido gonna be gone. Just have to try to res the Ana here. Then Anubis back in. See what they want to do. Valkyrie's going to be popped. The supercharger is in. Dragon Strike tossed in straight into their faces, and Giannis can disappear with the combined power of that whole hog out from Gods. They will be able to cruise into A. So second lease on life for the Toronto Defiant, but remember, they have to make it all the way to the finish of this map and then go into overtime rounds if they want to win Havana and extend us into a 5th map.
This time bank doesn't make it seem very likely. That's to put it lightly. That's being nice about it. You know, let's just speak liberally here. But see the halt, you know, eaten here. That is one of the functions of the Diva. Gods' hooks, you know, have been effective when he hits them.
Another self-destruct toss in, pulls it over to the corner.
That
gonna be
was
the immortality
sick.
field.
That was sick by Gods.
Nicely done, making sure that it can't fly far enough into the back. Logix comes in on top of Corey this time. Hook not gonna connect. Nano boost on forward, on us on top. And Arc manages to get the res off in the meantime. Comes up over the top. To weaken them, but can't quite lead to any kills. And now has to be worried about that mech staying in it, but he's not gonna be able to. So he does get popped out now, just gonna try to pistol his way back through. Surging up his baby Diva. Manages to get it in time, but still not going to be able to make it back in. Once you call that down, you're stuck still.
Yeah,
he manages to find the shot.
Killed in animation.
Oh, Corey!
The flank
from the back. Missed the shot onto Guido, however, and now he's in a very sticky situation.
Yeah, I don't know if this ended up being worth it. If you get a triple kill or something like that, this ends up being good, but now he's out of position and he has to respawn, so this is just a free cap. He delayed for a moment, and it was going to be tough for Defiant, or excuse me, for Justice to get into position to stagger anyways, but, I mean, you got to take the big risk sometimes, and you're already ahead in time bank. You know it. You're guaranteed.
That was still about as good as it could have gone for Toronto Defiant, though, on the push through the B, so they still made decent time, so they're compensating as best as possible. Obviously, this is escort, so they will get, if they make it to the end, they will get a chance no matter what. But Corey, he's looking to shut that down. Logic's going to be gone. Now Ivy, as the Empressite is used, for a bit more. Got that onto Neko, but can't quite finish him off.
I mean, at this point, for, you know, the time bank is lost. You know that. And now you just need to make sure you can stabilize. You know, that should not have happened. I mean, this is a spawn kill.
Yeah, he's almost killing Ivy. Spawn.
The Defiant really need to regroup. I mean, if you have to use an immortality field to get out of spawn, you've got to do it. But I mean, there needs to be some better communication here. And we talked about it when they swapped their roster up to a half Western roster. You could feel it.
And for Sight in, 5 more ultimates still ready to go. One goes through, and Stratus.
Great.
He's going to be able to find a double kill. Dragon Strike out from Ivy does get Giannis after the Hulk comes in. Rez is going to be there from Arc, bringing back into the fight. Some taken down. Corey with a headshot. Finds Youngpunk. He's looking for more. Up over the top. Logic's game comes out on top, however, barely misses that headshot. Card is still rolling up. Logix gets rid of Stratus. They have to peel back. They work their way around this final corner. The barrier coming in again. Corey looking for the hits. Barrier now gone. Has to retreat.
All right, this is a good chance for the Defiant to kind of keep steamrolling this forward. They have the Transcendence, they can stick to this cart. Guido will have the matching one, but this is where you really need to guarantee picks like this one.
Okay, yep, they get that pull in. Sansam trying to stay in the mech, actually makes it around the corner, and Gods gets cut down. Corey finds the hit. Now Neko going to be gone. No Transcendence here for this fight, but Logix pushing forward again, taking a very risky fight up close and personal. Comes out on top. Gets the kill there on to Corey.
Not gonna reveal himself yet. Oh, no way.
Was that?
Oh my God.
Was that intent?
No, that was not an...
I would think no.
I don't think so. He could have stayed there. They didn't know where he was. I mean, sure, it's a risk. It's the same thing we talked about with Corey earlier, but you don't go that far out and then reset that late. It's a mistake if he's resetting that late. If he planned on resetting, he waited way too long. Big problem. Intentional or not, jumping off there.
Well, they're going to have fun with that one on the post show, but Neko taken down. Corey finding another one now, looking for Logics. We'll go ahead, steal back, play into the back of the point. We're getting ready to go into overtime. Toronto Defiant. Supercharger is down. They nearly have a Dragon Strike. Whole Hog and that Transcendence are online. And Matrix going to be expiring. God takes a breather to try to stay alive. They have to make it to the end. Otherwise, Washington Justice are picking up their third match victory here in the season. Corey gonna be picked off. Neko comes in with a crucial one as the whole hall comes out from God, pushing them back. Transcendence from Kino keeps everybody topped up and stuns him. He denies Ivy's Dragon Strike. Another eat coming through from him. For a bit more. They get the hook in. Stratus and Gita both disappearing. Cart inching up. Washington Justice trying to close this one out. Supercharger comes down. Corby is back into the fight. The self-destruct's up over the top from Sansum, looking for the pick, and he manages to find two! Taking out Neko, taking out Ivy. Now playing up onto the cart, trying to keep things contested. Corey jumps over the side, and here comes Stratus again with the Doom Fist. He knocks him off the cart, and the Washington Justice, they get their win.
Ecstatic as they should be. This DPS duo look at each other in the eyes. They were meant to play damage together, and the Washington Justice will pick up their third win of the season. It's a bit late to save them in terms of the season playoffs, but I gotta say, I think Corey's 2020 contract negotiations are probably gonna go pretty well if he can keep up this performance. Hugs across the board here, as this was another win for Otto as well, who got to participate in this series. And for the Defiant, there were definitely some moments of brilliance, but overall, they were just not as clean in this meta. You know, there were some issues with the diva play there. There were some issues, you know, coordinating the halt hooks. Sansum played the best series we've seen from him in 2019.
Absolutely. I mean, pretty much everybody here on the Washington Justice looking like they're finally meshed, looking cohesive. Stratus still amped up on stage. He's feeling good about it, as he should. It was a fantastic performance here collectively from the Washington Justice. I mean, Toronto Defiant, they looked good at the start. God's setting the record for most eats in a single map, but it didn't carry forward. After Temple of Anubis, it was just a downward spiral. But guys, we got Mika standing by on the floor with Corey.
Let's give it up for Corey and the Washington Justice. What an incredible performance. What a way to kick off a stage. And earlier in the season, we saw you mostly on Zarya, but now, as we've seen, you are incredible on Widow. So what is it like just being able to be unleashed?
It really feels amazing, honestly. Like being able to just play the hero that I'm most comfortable on is like exhilarating, especially on the stage, because I know I'm gonna pop off.
Well, and pop off you did. Congratulations. It was really fun to watch. And you guys may be out of the playoffs, but we see that you and Stratus are having fun on stage. The sunglasses sharing back and forth. You guys, up there it is right there. You guys are being cheeky. And it's you guys clearly have a positive mental attitude. So how do you keep that up?
We just enjoy playing with each other, and as long as you love playing Overwatch and you love playing with your teammates, you're gonna have fun.
That's really wholesome. Well, thank you so much, Corey. Everybody give it up for Corey one more time. Back to you, Wolf and Achilleos.
Thank you, Mika. Good to hear from Corey. Good to hear that he's persevering throughout the rough season the Washington Justice have had. As you said, you know, as far as playoffs are concerned, it's over for them. They're trying to take Toronto down with them, and that is certainly going to soften up their chances of making it into the season playoffs.
We do have to add some asterisks. Obviously, this was a great performance against, you know, our 18th place team in the Defiant, who just came off of an 0-7 stage 3, as gods will tell you. Yeah. But I gotta say, Corey, this is what a rookie dreams of. A rookie player in the Overwatch League gets to have the entire crowd behind him screaming and chanting his name as he pops off and carries the team. It's great to see that happiness from a player who's struggled all season long to be a rookie on one of the bottom teams in Overwatch League, keeping the motivation high to play at your best level in a meta for most of the season where you don't get to play the heroes that you have spent your entire career up to this point training on. It feels like finally the chains are off and he's a beast unleashed. I mean, really.
Absolutely. He can finally really make a run for being in the, you know, the conversation for best Widow, and maybe best Western Widow especially here in the Overwatch League. But let's go ahead and take a look at our player of the match. I think we know who it's going to be. Presented by Owned by HP, of course, and it is, in fact, Corey.
Corey just, I mean, he had a great series. You know, Sansum had his moments, of course. Stratus had his too, but, you know, he starts off on the Reaper, synergizing with DPS partner Stratus to make this happen. And then you just see the Widow pop-offs against Logix, no less. This is not an easy Widow matchup. Incredible shot there. You had to slow it down to believe it. Corey with the kills there at the end, helping guarantee the finish. 42% scoped critical accuracy. Almost half of the shots he hit were headshots.
Yeah, I mean, fantastically done. You can see 23 crit hit kills coming out of that one with 27 final blows. A fantastic performance from Corey and the Washington Justice as a whole. Can hold their heads high here. They got that next win on the board. They separate themselves a bit from the Florida Mayhem as well by putting that third series up, as we see there. Defiant still going to be in 18th place. They have those 7 wins from before, so can't fall below the Justice or the Mayhem. But, you know, still hurting their chances.
You've got to be, realistically, if you're hoping to make top 12, you've got to be hovering above 50%, you know, in the wins-losses. And this loss here for the Defiant, one of their easiest wins to take, you would argue, in terms of strength of schedule for this final stage. They take the L, and that's really going to hurt your chances. You've got 6 opportunities left to maximize wins, but you're not even going to get a shot at those play-ins.
Yeah, gonna have to bounce back, or the Toronto Defiant, if they want to make their way into those play-ins. A rough start for them, but a fantastic start today. I was gonna say fantastic start
it
to
was
the day here for us. A great series there, but we got plenty more coming up. Dallas Fuel getting ready to take on the London Spitfire, so make sure you guys stay tuned because there's more Overwatch coming at you in just a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.